Are you a Libra sun, moon, or rising and you are interested in diving deeper into your psyche? Or maybe you are cross-watching for a Libra in your life and you want to know more about their inner world? Well, in today's video, we are going to be exploring the shadow side of Libra and how to own these hidden parts. Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Now, before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and click the bell. And if you are interested in any of my services or booking a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks, guide, and merch. All the links will be in the description box down below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful today. Let's do this. Now, before we do get into this, I just want to mention that I do not claim to be a psychologist. I am simply going off the information I know about astrology. So take what I'm saying today with a grain of salt and see what resonates. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the author of this book, Howard Sasportas. This is the 12 Houses. Thank you so much to his knowledge. I definitely recommend this book. Thanks to his knowledge, I have been able to create this series. Also, I suggest watching for your rising sign first and foremost, followed by your sun sign, then your moon sign, just to see how things resonate. And I will be using the whole sign system for this series, and we're going to be diving into your 7th, 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. This is because these houses are unconscious houses. They are tied to our shadow. And if you have any planets in any of these houses, consider them. And one more thing here, this information today is in conjunction with Jungian psychology, and so we will be exploring your shadow side. In short terms, Carl Jung explored symbolism and archetypes, and you could say that the 12 signs are archetypes. So on that note, let's explore your shadow, Libra, and how to own it. Libra, you greet life with thoughtfulness, consideration, and a well-refined taste. Now, before we get into the relationship side of things, because you are such relationship-oriented people, let's discuss just how refined you are. Your elegance, your beauty, your style. It's almost like you piece everything together really nicely, and you consider all of the moving parts. You add your artistic touch. Many of you, for this reason, are talented at the likes of photography, film, painting, music, decorating, design, and even making food from scratch. Some of you can be highly poetic, poised, gentle, polite. You can also be quite social people. You'll welcome other people into the group, make them feel valued, appreciated, help them feel at ease. You have a way with people. You can actually make other people feel really special and significant because you see them, or at least you make an effort. You try to really make an effort to see them or to find a common ground, to see how you can relate to them. And you can be brilliant in front of an audience, even though you can be highly anxious about doing so, nervous about doing so, though more about that when we talk about Virgo in your 12th house. Yeah, you can be quite gifted when it comes to other people, Libra. Perhaps you were raised this way. You were raised to be cooperative, harmonious, and sophisticated. Anything too ugly or harsh, no. We do not stoop to other people's poor behaviors and attitudes. We do not address the elephant in the room, because why would we want to disturb the peace, or why would we want other people maybe judging us or seeing us in a particular light? All that stuff does is make things messy, complicated, and uncomfortable. You may have grown up with this message of remember your values, remember who you're talking to, be responsible, assess the situation before jumping in, consider other people and their needs as well. And you know what? Such an approach can be done really, really nicely. You can be selective, you can be charming, you possess both the masculine and feminine qualities, which of course we all do. But you can be great at balancing these qualities. You tend to approach life in this balanced way, just in general. So balancing the back and forth between you and others, balancing your mind versus your heart, balancing your inner and outer worlds, knowing the difference even between a want and a need, knowing what is desired, knowing what isn't, knowing when you are leaning too far toward one side versus the other side, and then being able to restore balance, being able to reach a state of equilibrium. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Yeah, no, it really isn't, but we will talk more about this in a moment. Moreover, when you are aligned with your higher self, you are quite chatty, social, flexible, witty, you're interesting, you're engaging, informative, you're very alert. With that being said though, you can often preach a message. You can possess beliefs based on your own moral principles and your own code of ethics. You can actually be idealistic, overly so. You may dream of a perfect way of existing, a perfect job, a perfect relationship, a perfect political landscape. You often possess a philosophical, spiritual, or religious mind. You have your own ideals about the world and how it should or could be, which is quite interesting because you are often said to be indecisive. And sure, you can be, but you also possess this part of you that gets other people to make decisions for you whilst knowing exactly what you want. In this way, manipulation is a possibility here. Getting other people to do what you want in these subtle ways, especially if it means not appearing as the bad guy, as the big bad wolf. Not to mention, you often stand for justice, making sure other people get what's coming to them. You are a highly karmic sign, Libra, and you prefer to use your good judgment. I mean, after all, many of you are lawyers, counselors, assistants, business people, negotiators. You can perform excellently in the arena of business, human relations, thinking about public relations, media, politics, international affairs, human resources. Oh yeah, you possess these artistic qualities, but you also possess these very humanistic qualities. And I also think that your life path is tied to seeing the other with this subconscious desire to understand yourself. And this leads me on to your descendant, which is Aries. Aries invites you to see yourself and to recognize your individuality. Aries gets you asserting yourself, being direct, expressing your opinion, and putting yourself in the center of a situation. There is this leadership quality that Aries brings, that Aries adds to your life. Yes, you can lead within discussions, you can initiate conversations, you'll make things happen within social situations, social settings, but Aries brings a bit of sass, a bit of perceived rudeness, keyword here being perceived. You see, whilst so many people are so used to you being cooperative and getting along with the program, okay, when they see a part of you that is direct and upfront, they may be taken aback, okay? They may be taken aback, or they may mistaken your actions for rudeness. Naturally, there is more to this, okay? There's more nuance to this, and I will get to that. But still, Aries gets you owning the parts of yourself which are interruptive, opinionated, the parts of yourself that are self-assertive and independent. Aries says, be selfish, put your needs first. Don't worry about other people and their opinions, just do it. And whilst it's great to consider other people, which you can do so beautifully, so well, and also I see this as you being really well liked by other people for doing so. But I think it's also important to recognize that your personal desires, wants, and needs matter. And trying to accommodate everyone around you can be this balancing act, an exhausting one at that. And then you end up feeling bitter, resentful, overlooked. It can feel like all you do is give to others without receiving anything in return. And so what Aries teaches you is how to fill your own cup. And thinking about this further, I think the North Node moving into Aries this July, so July 2023 until January 2025, well, I think the shift for you should be very interesting, because this is actually about you recognizing and owning these sides of yourself. Indeed, Aries invites you to be bold and courageous. And this is even more interesting because you often look out at the world and you think people are so impulsive and reckless. They don't know how to manage themselves very well or how to take responsibility for their actions. Do they not see that there are consequences for their actions? All they do is burn their bridges, and I certainly do not want to do that. But Aries encourages you to look in the mirror, Libra. Aries asks, what are these people reflecting about the need for adventure, spontaneity, and risk within my own life? Aries shows you that it's okay to make a last minute decision and to run with it. It's okay to show healthy aggression without other people getting hurt. Being direct and upfront about a situation can help you get through a situation quicker. And besides, oftentimes in life, we are presented with these moments when we need to cut to the chase. Moments when we need to stand up for ourselves and defend our very survival, okay? Times when we need to compete as well. Oh yeah, competition is everywhere. And competition is often seen as this bad thing today. At least that's how I'm noticing it. But in actuality, healthy competition is normal. And I would even suggest that it's natural. Perhaps, there are debates and arguments about this, of course, but what I'm getting at here is that healthy competition can be a great tool that helps us work harder. You know, it's tied to survival. And so Aries teaches you such things, Libra. And the thing about this is you tend to attract people who teach you these lessons. Now, you might not see it because a big part of the 7th house is unconscious, but often people you attract teach you the importance of going after your goals, going after what you want. And if that means ruffling a few feathers, so be it. Now, I'm not saying that you need to forget the part of you that is thoughtful, mindful, cooperative, harmonious. But what if you could also own the parts of yourself that don't have to be so fearful? Fearful about what other people may say, about what they may think about you, fearful about how others might treat you because you expressed your opinion and it upset the other person. You like to be liked, Libra. But I think that you grow to embrace the part of you that is okay with not being liked. The part of you that knows you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. The part of you that can disagree without it becoming this super angry thing. And I mean this where perhaps you fear that others will become angry at you for disagreeing with them. Oh, anger, Libra, an emotion that you don't particularly feel comfortable with. Moreover, you tend to attract lovers, close friends, business partners as well here, who are active, spontaneous, opinionated, energetic, and perhaps somewhat sexual too. And when you become really close, these qualities seem to come out of you. You become motivated, inspired, encouraged, full of energy, full of enthusiasm. You bring out these adventurous qualities. You also strongly value your independence within your relationships. You need time for yourself, time to do the things that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. You value your freedom and your individuality. However, relationships also tend to get you angry. Oh yes, you thought you weren't angry, or you think you are not angry. Well, Aries teaches you that anger is a completely normal and valid emotion, and that we all get angry sometimes, and it's okay to be angry too. Not to mention, your relationships tend to bring out the parts of you that are indeed selfish, inconsiderate, impatient, the parts of you that can be quite demanding and pushy, the parts of you that can indeed initiate an argument, the parts of you that will express your frustrations. Now, it could be that you attract partners who behave in these types of ways towards you, but I think that Aries gets you owning the parts of yourself that rams into people, so to speak. It's like, you must listen to me, hear what I'm saying. Now, of course, I'm not saying that such behaviors are wrong, because I think that there are moments in life when we can all become frustrated. There are moments in life when we all can become annoyed and we can behave in impatient ways. And there can be times when we are inconsiderate without realizing. Though, I think this is about you owning your anger, owning a bit of selfishness, owning your desire to take action without having to think about everybody else. Because often when you don't, that anger can come out in other ways. Rage may also start to occur where you end up exploding. Or it could get to a point where you go overboard with your views and your opinions. I mean, there can be this part of you that can come across as morally superior. This part of you that has a vision of the way life should be and people should get along in this particular way. And when this part of you isn't monitored, so to speak, you can go to extremes. So like I said, trying to keep the balance can be difficult. But forcing other people to submit to your version of that balance might not be the most beneficial thing. Still, I think that you do come to learn these lessons. So, on that note, let's take you back to your childhood by exploring your fourth house, your IC. So you have Capricorn in the fourth house, or a Capricorn IC. Did you grow up in a household comprised of rules, regulations, strict codes? And if you didn't stick to such rules, you were punished. You were taught a lesson. Perhaps you grew up in a family that seemed quite unfeeling, cold, reserved, dry, matter of fact. Maybe you had a very complex and challenging relationship with your father. Perhaps he struggled quite a bit. He wasn't the most present, either physically or emotionally. He may have worked a lot, or he wasn't there at all. Perhaps there are those of you who grew up without a father, or your parents divorced, and so you had to go back and forth between homes. And so you acted as this mediator between your parents, or as this mediator between two family circles, if you think about it. Though what I do notice when it comes to Libras is how many of them have grown up being parented by their grandparents. So if we think about Capricorn, it can be connected to elders, okay? And so this could have been for a variety of reasons, of course. But essentially, things weren't the most, I would suggest, affectionate or caring, or it wasn't super sensitive. There wasn't a lot of sensitivity. And maybe it was a matter of, this is just the way things are done here. Or it's that perhaps you grew up in this highly traditional home, traditional family. Yeah, you could have grown up with parents who were very much attached to their heritage, to their ancestry. And you know what? It could be here that many of you Libras value tradition. Perhaps you followed the rules. You did what was asked of you, what was expected of you. You wanted to be recognized by your parents or your grandparents, and perhaps toward the end of your parents' lives, you formed a bond, a better bond, so it could be this whole notion of things may not have been the most affectionate or warm during your early years, but then as you get older, you develop more of a bond. Yeah, you may grow closer to your parents as you get older, so that's a possibility. Or it's simply that you grew closer after moving out of the family home, and so there was more of an effort on both of your parts. Now, I also want to mention here that something I've noticed with having this Taurus energy in the 8th house, which we will talk more about in a moment. But what I've noticed is Venus, of course, rules Taurus, right? So there is a Venus ruled sign in the 8th house for you. And keeping in mind, Venus is your chart ruler, Libra. So you're ruled by Venus. And so with this other Venus ruled sign being in the 8th house of DEATH and loss, well, we are noticing this possibility of someone DYING during your early life, and then being born into that environment, or already being born into that environment and growing up that way. Suggesting what? Suggesting growing up in a household of grief. And what I also notice here is this likelihood of you growing up fast, having to be responsible, having to do adult-like duties, having to be committed, being held accountable for your actions. And so, is it that you too hold other people accountable for their actions? You learned in either direct or indirect ways to be responsible, and you expect other people to manage and to conduct themselves in such ways. Perhaps you had to be self-sufficient. You had to even provide for yourself from quite a young age. Some of you may have even been in foster homes or potentially adopted, or it's that you needed protection due to poor behavior from your parents, or due to poor living conditions, or because they weren't well, your parents weren't well. Now, again, instilling responsibility, either directly or indirectly. Now, with that being said, I am not here saying that you all grew up in terrible homes, terrible families. I mean, it could even be that your grandparents, they really looked after you and they provided for you. You were supported with care, and you feel strongly about the bond that you have or had with your grandparents. Same thing when it comes to your own parents. Maybe you do see it as, my parents tried their best, or it's that they provided enough resources. They put so much effort into looking after you. They taught you right from wrong. They taught you so many valuable lessons about responsibility, discipline, integrity as well. Then again, you know what? Maybe there are some of you that look back and think they did the bare minimum. And so, all of this is to say, I think this is also about you, Libra, owning the parts of you that seeks and needs security and safety. Even keeping in mind that Cancer energy on the midheaven in the 10th house. This is about you building a solid foundation when it comes to your living situation, when it comes to your family, your home, when it comes to your emotional security. Perhaps you don't own a house until later on in life, or perhaps you inherit a home from a family member. Then again, there are those of you who may own a house from quite early on, but then you still have these desires to live in a home where it's like, I feel more settled here, I feel more committed to this here. Or there are those of you who feel this coldness, just no matter where you live. The atmosphere always feels barren. Perhaps your family struggled when it came to money as well, and you carry these subconscious fears into your adult life. And really, whatever way things did play out for you, I think Capricorn here is highlighting the importance of emotional fulfillment and emotional recognition. And I think that later on in life, you feel stronger and you do feel more fulfilled. Yeah, I think this is about you developing your inner strength, having this inner core, but also experiencing inner power, having this inner power. And by doing so, this helps you when it comes to your relationships, where you can calmly state your opinion or what you want, even if such things go against what other people want. And then also learning to not suppress your feelings and your emotions. Basically, Libra, big lessons to do with these things. All right, so now we have explored your family life and how you approach your relationships. Let's explore your 8th house. So you have Taurus in this house. So this is where we are noticing just how pleasure-seeking, hedonistic, and materialistic you can be. Yeah, this is where we notice how you can go to extremes when it comes to the material world. And so by you owning your Capricorn parts, I think you also learn to manage these strong desires that you have quite well. But when such things are not integrated, this is when you can overdo it. You can be overindulgent, greedy, stingy. Your resources can even be used as a way to manipulate others. Using also your sexuality as a way to get what you desire. And I do feel a really strong need to say this, and that is that Venus also shows up as jealousy, rivalry, and competition in its own way. The type of love Venus offers us isn't really unconditional, it's more conditional. Perhaps this is why Venus is exalted in Pisces, because Pisces gives without expecting anything in return. But the reason why I bring this up, Libra, is because these qualities of jealousy and rivalry can come out of you. Now, I'm not saying this is super negative. I mean, jealousy is a completely valid and normal emotion. Therapy has helped me so much over the years. But you might view jealousy as wrong. You may have denied such feelings, rejected the parts of you that lusted after someone or something as well, or rejected pleasure. And there are those of you who rejected your sexuality. Therefore, I think this is about you integrating these parts too. Allowing yourself to experience pleasure and accepting your sexuality. Now, at the same time, perhaps some of you experienced shame for experiencing these feelings. You were made to feel bad for having certain feelings and emotions. Then again, perhaps there are those of you who radiate when it comes to such things later on in life. But essentially, you transform when it comes to things like pleasure, beauty, desire, sensuality. You also transform when it comes to things like wealth, materials, your resources. Maybe you earn more money and materials through your partner's money, through your partner's wealth, or you gain more materials through an inheritance or through another person's bank account. Finances can also be gained due to a business partnership or a marriage. And when it comes to how you handle money, you are going to be thorough, patient, steady. You can be resourceful, especially when you pair up with someone else or when you are a part of this social group or of some kind, okay? Oh, and one more thing with this. I think Taurus here also teaches you the importance of making a decision and sticking to it. You often have the tendency of sitting on the fence or weighing out your options for too long. But Taurus here invites the part of you that can stick to a decision and hold your own. Yes, your ability to weigh things out can be your strength, but Taurus adds a layer of solid decision making. All right, so moving on to the 12th house. You have the sign of Virgo here, and right off the bat, this suggests that some spiritual lessons you are coming to learn in this life are tied to your intellect, helpfulness, discernment, your work, your daily routines, and your health. And it's also here where we see just how worrisome, anxious, and concerned you can be. How much you can overthink and feel stressed behind the scenes. It's just that not many people see these sides to you. The parts of you that freaks out about the future, the parts of you that can become nervous when you meet new people or when you enter new social situations. You can make it appear really effortless above the surface when it comes to others because they see your grace, they see your charm, your beauty, your kindness. But underneath the surface, there is this part of you that worries that you'll do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing or you'll make a mistake. Now, on the other hand, there is a system to how you do things. You are excellent at figuring out systems, how things work, how things function. You're actually very skilled at investigating and discovering things that a lot of people don't find or notice. Not to mention, you can be such dedicated workers. You are great at truly committing yourself to a plan or a project. You might even volunteer or offer your services to those who need your help. And there is this hidden part of you that fixes, mends, and offers your advice. This part of you that is great at problem solving. However, whilst this is about you owning these parts of yourself, I also think it's important to realize when you overdo it, okay? When you offer your advice to people who didn't ask for it, for example, or when you help others and they mistreat you, they get used to your help and then they almost expect it. But no, this is about you using discernment. This is resonating with me so much because my secondary progressed ascendant is in Libra. This whole video, I think, is hitting home for me. But yes, this is about you using discernment, knowing when to give, knowing when to not give, when to offer your services and advice, and when to keep certain things to yourself, especially because you realize that that situation is not worth your time. In fact, I think such things are especially important for you due to you having Pisces in the 6th house. Establishing boundaries, Libra, knowing who and what you are giving your energy to, whom you are inviting into your sacred space. So much clarity, so much healing here, a great deal of emotion and feeling, connecting with your spiritual self and doing so with intention. You make for wonderful people of service, but you realize that you do not have to give to everyone. And it is okay to charge what you want to charge. There is a lot here to do with knowing your worth and transforming when it comes to your worth. Essentially, I think Virgo in your 12th house teaches you so much about being methodical, thorough, detail-oriented, and dedicated. Virgo here teaches you the importance of looking after your health, and I mean this both physically and energetically. Virgo here wants you to own these parts of yourself and being able to establish a healthy and grounding routine, something that helps to anchor you. And I think it's also about owning the parts of you which are correcting and improving, and at the same time, you know what, being okay with putting your feet up, being lazy, okay? Yeah, you might view yourself or others even as lazy whenever they do not meet your standards or your expectations, but maybe a little bit of laziness in your life, Libra, can be a good thing. Take the day off, go out with your friends, visit that place you've always wanted to. Now, of course, I understand that life can be busy and you often have many responsibilities, but when you can, make time for yourself, make time for the simple things, escape every once in a while, connect with the earth, how healing and revitalizing these things can be. And the thing is that living in a state of continuous worry and stress can be a part of your self-undoing. Then again, maybe it's that you struggle with feelings of guilt when you do put yourself first. Still, this is about you owning the parts of yourself that, you know what, can make time for retreating. Pencil in that spa day, Libra, and see how you feel. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking all about the psychology of Libra. If you have a Libra sun, moon, or rising, please let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section down below. I hope you find it to be helpful. And if you are cross-watching for a Libra, I hope that you were able to learn more about them today and you find it to be helpful. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon.